Chapter 4 of Billie Bradley at Treasure Cove by Janet D. Wheeler. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Battling for Life. The next few moments seemed an interminable nightmare to the girls from Three Towers Hall. They could never think of it afterward without a shudder. They tried again to lift the tree from the old man, but again found that impossible. It was the victim himself who finally suggested a way out. "If one of you was to lift the tree just a trifle," he said, "and the others were to help me pull myself out, there's no telling but I might manage it." The girls doubted that it could be done, but they were desperate enough to try anything. While explosion after explosion rocked the earth, they fought for the life of this old man and for their own. Vi and Laura tugged at the tree, while Billie Bradley, putting her arms beneath the old man's shoulders, tried to drag him from beneath the weight that pinned him down. If he had been unconscious, she never could have accomplished it, but the old man, with a heroism they neither understood nor appreciated at the time, helped himself, his lips tight closed to prevent a groan of agony. He pressed against the ground and pushed himself. He wound his arm about the trunk of a tree and pulled himself, slowly, inch by inch. Once he relaxed with a half-groan, half-sigh. "Can't do it," he muttered. "Better leave me, young ones, to whatever comes." "We'll not leave you," panted Billie. Her arms ached, her hair straggled, disheveled across her face. She was panting for breath, but no thought of giving in occurred to her or to her chums. "Why, you're halfway out already," cried Vi Farrington encouragingly. "Come on, Laura, one more shove." Oh dear! A tree behind them was struck by a flying shell or rock, they still did not know which. The tree toppled with a crash, just grazing them as it fell. "Quick!" gasped Billie. "No time to lose!" Once more all worked together, tugging manfully. The old man, convinced that the girls would not leave him to his fate, and feeling suddenly the full responsibility for their lives, as well as his own, made an almost superhuman effort and drew himself clear of the tree. "At last!" half-sobbed Billie. "Now give me a hand, girls. Laura, where is that shelter of yours?" It was no easy task to half-drag, half-carry the injured man through the woods. At last he stopped them. "I think I can stand, maybe, on one foot," he faltered. "The going might be better that way." They helped him to his feet. One leg bore him up, but the other sank when he put his weight upon it. "Broken, I reckon," groaned the old fellow. "Well, maybe I can hop if you lend me a shoulder apiece." Two shoulders, Vi and Billie's, were immediately offered to him. He hobbled doggedly on, although the girls guessed that each moment brought him almost unbearable pain. The injured leg dragged helplessly. They found Laura's shelter at last. It was a huge overhanging rock beneath which they might find comparative safety. They fell into this refuge with breathless relief. The old man sat, his back against the rock, his helpless legs stretched out upon the ground before him. He looked very white and grim about the mouth. "Does it hurt much?" asked Laura sympathetically. The old man tried to smile, a twisted, wry smile that held little mirth. "Well," he drawled, "I reckon a broken leg ain't much fun, no way you look at it. Still," he added, with determined optimism, "I shouldn't wonder if it isn't better than a broken head at that, which is what I'd have by now, I reckon, if you girls hadn't come along. Uncommon kind of you," he added, in a voice grown suddenly weak with pain, "to risk your necks for an old man you ain't never seen before." "We're only glad we did come along," replied Billie. Her voice was a little absent. She was listening to those continued explosions. What made them? Was it the powder house at the academy that had blown up? If so, the possibility, no, the probability, was that all the buildings connected with the academy had gone up in smoke, too. Then how about Chet? How about Teddy Jordan and Ferd Stowing? How about all those other boys that they knew and liked so well? She was roused from her miserable reverie by the voice of the old man. "Reckon it's the end of the world. Sounds like it, anyway." "If Boxton Academy has blown up, "Then it's the end of the world for us, anyway," said Laura, in a choked voice. "Oh, Billy, what can we do?" "Nothing," returned Billy, in a cold little voice. "If we so much as stir from here, we're apt to be killed ourselves, and that won't do the boys a bit of good." "Teddy said they were going to try out their big cannon today, up in the woods," Laura suggested. Billy shook her head. "It would take a whole army of cannon to do this much damage. You know that, Laura, as well as I. There's no use trying to fool ourselves." She wanted to cry and wouldn't let herself. "Anyway, we're only guessing," Vi offered. "We don't know where these explosions come from. May not be the powder house at all." Suddenly the girls realized that the hideous noise of destruction had stopped again. Once more the woodland was bathed in an almost supernatural stillness. "I wonder if it's over." Billy poked her head experimentally from under the roof of their shelter. No rock struck her upon the head. No falling tree limb threatened her with instant death. Cautiously she wriggled forth from their precarious shelter and stood upright. "It seems to be over for the time, girls," she said, uncertainly. "I shouldn't wonder if this was our chance to make a break for Three Towers. Or Boxton," she added, with a little shake in her voice. The girls glanced at the old man. What were they to do with him? As though he guessed what was in their minds. He said, "You girls had better get on back to where you came from. I'll be all right here. Then, when you get to town, you can send back help to me." The girls hesitated. Billy shook her head. "If you can help us to get you to the shore road," she said, "we could probably find someone right away who could take you to a doctor. That would be quicker than leaving you here and sending someone back for you. Besides, we wouldn't know just where to tell them to find you. Do you think you can get to the road?" "Reckon I can," answered the old fellow, setting his jaw. "But first," he added, as the girls stooped to help him to his feet, "I'd like to ask you a question." The girls from Three Towers Hall looked at him curiously. That was the first time, probably, that they had consciously looked at him. Now they noticed with surprise that the old fellow wore sailor's garb. The rest of him was as salty as his dress. His face was bronzed to the color of copper, and there were lines in the leathery skin, humorous, kindly lines that ran downward from twinkling, almost startlingly blue eyes to the corners of a wide, pleasant mouth. A face to like and to trust, as these girls liked and trusted it from the very beginning. "What is the question you want to ask?" queried Billy, as she knelt beside him. "A while back," said the old man, "one of you mentioned something about Three Towers. Did you, by any chance, mean Three Towers Hall?" "Yes," said the girls in chorus, and Laura added, "We go to school there." The blue eyes of the old sailor lighted with humorous appreciation. "Well," he drawled, "as someone once said afore me, seems like this world is a small place after all. Because, you see, I'm going there too." End of chapter 4.